You are welcome here, just the way you are. No more hiding tears, no more covering scars. You are welcome, holy welcome. You are welcome here, just the way you want to be. Bring your deepest hopes and all your wildest dreams. You are welcome, holy welcome, holy welcome.
Good morning. My name is Mary Klein, and I'm a licensed practitioner here at the Centers for Spiritual Living St. George. And it's my great pleasure to be able to facilitate this meditation this morning. Today, we're going to do a brief chakra meditation. At the inner core of each one of us spins 7 wheel-like energy centers called chakras, swirling intersections of vital life force. Each chakra reflects an aspect of consciousness essential to our lives. Together, the 7 chakras form a profound formula for wholeness that integrates mind, body, and spirit. As a complete system, the chakras provide a powerful tool for both personal and planetary growth. Allow your eyes to close. If they open, simply let them close again and take a full, deep breath, releasing the breath completely. If you hear any noises, or if anything that could be potentially distracting occurs, allow that potential distraction to take you deeper and deeper into the meditation, deeper and deeper into the state of relaxation. Now allowing the in-breath to originate in the belly, moving upwards to the ribs, and then to the top of the chest. Take a deep breath. As you release it, let the out-breath start in the chest and move downward through the ribs to finally exit from the belly. With each exhale, let the body further relax. Continue this form of deep breathing and take another deep breath. This time, as you exhale, let the body totally relax. Now take one more deep cleansing breath and relax. Now I ask that you focus your attention on the root chakra, the very bottom of the torso, approximately 1 inch inside the body, and imagine a baseball-sized sphere of pulsing red light. Let the light pulse like the beating of the heart. Really imagine that bright red sphere of pulsing light at the bottom of the torso, approximately 1 inch inside the body, and notice bodily sensations. See it there, feel it there, and sense it there. Notice any emotions, or thoughts that may arise. Just notice. Good. Now, while keeping the red sphere of light there at the bottom of the torso, move attention to a spot approximately 1 inch below the navel and 1 inch inside the abdomen. There, imagine a bright orange sphere of pulsing light there in the sacral or the emotional chakra. And imagine that bright orange sphere of pulsing light right there. Let it pulse with the beating of the heart while breathing into it effortlessly. Actively imagine that bright orange sphere of pulsing light about 1 inch below the navel and 1 inch inside the abdomen, and notice the body sensations. Notice any emotions or thoughts that may arise. Just notice. Now, by keeping the orange sphere of light just below the navel and the bright red sphere of light at the bottom of the torso, move awareness to a spot approximately 1 inch inside the body just below the solar plexus. And imagine a bright yellow sphere of pulsing light there. Let it pulse with the beating of the heart, breathing into it effortlessly. Allow yourself to fully experience the bright yellow sphere of pulsing light, about 1 inch inside the body, just below the solar plexus. And notice any body sensations. Notice any emotions or thoughts that arise. Just notice them. Now, while keeping attention on the pulsing bright spheres of light, the yellow sphere at the solar plexus, the orange sphere just below the navel, and the red sphere at the bottom of the torso, expand awareness to focus on a spot approximately 1 inch inside the body at the heart chakra. There, imagine a bright green sphere of pulsing light. Let it pulse with the beating of the heart and breathe into it effortlessly. Look at that bright green sphere of pulsing light. Feel it. Sense it. Sense it fully. About 1 inch inside the body at the heart. And notice any body sensations. Notice any emotions or thoughts that arise. And just notice them. Just feel them. Sense them. Very good. While keeping the pulsing sphere of light there in the body, the green sphere at the heart, the yellow at the solar plexus, the orange sphere just below the navel, and the red sphere at the bottom of the torso, move attention now to a spot approximately 1 inch inside the body at the base of the throat chakra. Notice a bright sky blue sphere of pulsing light there. Let it pulse with the beating of your heart. Breathing into it effortless. Really feel it, sense it. Fully imagine that bright blue, sky blue sphere of pulsing light about 1 inch inside the body at the base of the throat. And notice body sensations. Notice any emotions or thoughts that arise. Just notice. Just notice. Good. Now, while keeping the sky blue sphere of light at the base of the throat, the green sphere at the heart, the yellow at the solar plexus, the orange just below the navel, and the red sphere at the bottom of the torso, move your attention to a spot approximately 1 inch inside the body and between the eyebrows, the third eye chakra. Visualize a deep indigo blue sphere of pulsing light there. Let it pulse with the beating of the heart, breathing into it effortlessly. What does this deep indigo blue sphere of light feel like as it pulses there, about 1 inch inside the body between the eyebrows? Notice body sensations. Notice any emotions or thoughts that arise. Just sit and notice them. While keeping the deep indigo blue sphere between the eyebrows, the sky blue sphere at the base of the throat, the green sphere at the heart, the yellow sphere at the solar plexus, the orange sphere just below the navel, and the red sphere at the bottom of the torso, move attention now to a spot at the top of the head, right at the soft spot in the middle, the crown chakra. And there, visualize a radiant purple sphere of pulsing light there. Let it pulse with the beating of the heart, breathing into it effortlessly. Really feel that radiant purple sphere of pulsing light right at the soft spot in the middle of the top of the head. Notice body sensations. Notice any emotions or thoughts that arise. Just notice. Now, scan through all the colored pulsing spheres. Begin with the red one at the bottom of the torso, the orange one just below the navel, the yellow at the solar plexus, the green at the heart, the sky blue at the base of the throat, the indigo blue between the eyebrows, and the radiant purple at the crown of the head. Notice how you feel now. As you scan through the whole body, notice any body sensations. And now, just breathe for a few moments, easily, effortlessly, naturally, noticing how it feels to have these spheres of light pulsing to the beat of the heart inside of you. Very good. Now take one more deep, cleansing breath and notice the chair supporting the body and the floor beneath the feet. Recall the lights overhead and the loving individuals who have joined us at this time. Take another deep breath and wiggle the fingers. Smile and take another deep breath. And when you exhale, allow your eyes to open and join us here in the room again in full consciousness. Namaste.
There's something in the air, the dream of life in love, the minds that rest in prayer, sparking joy we're in awe. No matter where your path has been or time will somehow flies, like souls will come home again, true friendship ever thrives. Is this where the magic happens? Can you feel the farce revealed right now in you and me? The secret is wherever we are. There's something in a smile that can turn a day around. Moments so worthwhile when we find common ground. No matter what the day might bring, right here we can align, knowing that we will be seen as perfect, whole, divine. 'Cause this is where the magic happens. Let's feel all the hearts, from close to me and me to you. The secret is wherever we are. So meet heavens, healing all the hearts, ignited now in you and me. The secret is wherever, the secret is whenever, the secret is together we are.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living St. George Sunday service. We're glad you're here. We're an open, loving, and inclusive community, and we support thinking creatively and living a deeply spiritual life. I try to think creatively, but sometimes when I try to think, nothing happens. So I'm working on that part, but you're welcome to join us and we'll all work on it together. Our mission is to provide spiritual tools for personal and global transformation. That means we're here to serve and to help. And we welcome you to join us anytime. You're safe with us. Our team today that are providing the service for you is Marina Anderson is our tech, and she's behind the scenes making everything work. Mary Klein offered our meditation and will be doing our invocation today. Shay Barlow will be providing us with some great songs. I'm Alan Stanley. I'll be your host. And our own Reverend Joe Kovach will be providing our message today. So just settle back and get comfortable and let's just enjoy all this together. And we'll bring Shay in and rock and roll, Shay.
Good morning, Alan. Good to see you. And great introduction there. My brain doesn't always work either. So we're going to take a moment kind of to let our brains settle and to let our hearts and our spirits just come right here collectively in this moment. This is a song by Tabor Darland called Love Be Known. It's one of my favorites. I'm going to go ahead and go through it, and then we will have Mary join us again, and she will share the invocation. And then we will sing again, and the lyrics will be on screen so you can affirm these words. Love be known. Holy, I awaken forevermore. Love be known. Holy, I awaken forevermore. Love be known. All is right. All is well within the soul. Peace be my offering forevermore. Love be known. Peace be my offering forevermore. Love be known. All is right. All is well within the soul.
There is one pervading presence, one power that energizes everything, one force that encompasses everything everywhere in the universe and beyond. And I know that this force, this power is God, or source. And I know that it is right here, right now. As I breathe in, and allow this energy to fill my body and fill my cells and every system I have. I know that God is present everywhere. It is the intelligence that creates, and it is the love that sustains life. And I know that I am created in this one. I know this for me, and I know for you here participating in this broadcast. This love, this power, this intelligence goes in and through, creating all that I need and all that I will ever need in this life. All the affairs of my life. I claim and accept this for myself, now and always, abundant life. I accept the ever-flowing energy that provides for me as I move through this life. I am one with this divine flow of energy of abundance. I'm aligned with the divine that runs through my life. I affirm that I live and move and have my being in spirit abundance, in health, and harmony, and love. And so it is.
So it is. Holy I awaken, forevermore love be known. Holy I awaken, forevermore love be known. Holy I awaken, forevermore love be known. All is right, all is well within my soul. Peace be my offering, peace be my offering, forevermore love be known. Peace be my offering, forevermore love be known. All is right, all is well within my soul. All is right, all is right, all is well within my soul. And now we're going to invite Marina Anderson into the service to share a sacred reading. Hello, Marina.
Hello, Shay. Oh my gosh, that's one of my favorites. I was singing here. I think I got to sing that in person with you once or twice. I was certainly belting out here. So our focus this month is about money and finances. And, initially I just kind of felt like, or once upon a time, I would have thought it was a kind of a weird subject to talk about in a spiritual setting. But several years ago, after my husband passed away, I found myself in the middle of some financial challenges. And so I went to a financial advisor, and her name is Luna Jaffe, and she invited me into a class that she was doing called Wild Money. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, wild money. And it ended up kind of changing my life and changing my relationship with money. And, that's what it was all about. Not only was Luna a financial advisor. She was also a Jungian psychotherapist and a brilliant artist. And so she incorporated all those skills into this beautiful, beautiful class, and which is now a book and workbook. So anyway, I wanted to share with you what Luna says about giving with guts. I have traveled around the world on a shoestring, on a sailboat, from the heights of the Himalayas to the volcanic islands of Nicaragua. And everywhere I've been, I have met amazing people giving to others who have less than they do. Despite all of the negative, hateful, horrific news we hear daily, there are people from all economic backgrounds and belief systems who quietly share their time, their resources, and money, not because they have to, but because they choose to. When I met Celia, I was impressed by her gracious welcome. By Nicaraguan standards, her family was doing all right, though she and her husband worked long hours at jobs far beneath their skills to support their two boys and her mother. For extra money, they took in students from the local language school, providing 3 meals a day, the only air-conditioned room in the house, and ample opportunity to practice Spanish. In our long conversations during the evening downpours, I learned how things had changed since the last time I'd spent time in the country during the Sandinista Revolution and Contra War in 1984 and 86. Hardships, high prices for basic needs like electricity and medical care, and few job opportunities for skilled workers topped the list. They struggled, yet remained grateful. Celia talked about her Rotary Club and how hard they worked to bring comfort to chronically ill children at the local hospital. She has fundraisers, gathers volunteers for work parties, and models the fine art of giving back. This is giving with guts. Giving when you could easily claim not to have enough time and money. Giving because it feels like the right thing to do. Giving is the glue that helps us feel connected. Giving with guts requires you to honor your values and your wallet. It begs authenticity while also being responsible to yourself. Give too much and your financial foundation gets shaky. Give for the wrong reasons and the financial landscape becomes polluted with resentment, need, expectation, or disappointment. To understand your relationship with giving, we need to return to the school of giving you were raised in, your family home. This is where the roots of your giving reside, even if now you work hard to operate from a different set of values and behaviors. Remember the story, The Giving Tree by Shel Silverstein? I sure do. Giving of your fruit, limbs, trunk, and stump until nothing is left? That is not the model I am working from. Generosity is a natural state. It's wild and in tune with rhythms and cycles. But not all giving comes from generosity. Some comes from guilt or obligation or anger. Even the giving that is done through religious organizations can come with some emotional baggage, such as giving because others expect you to, because your parents would be disappointed, because you have more than most, because you feel guilty and bad if you didn't. The purpose of this is to simply ask the question, am I good with the way that I give money, time, and resources? Am I where I want to be? Generosity is a natural outcome of financial harmony. The balancing act involves caring for yourself and your family while giving what you can, where you can. Sometimes it requires stepping back and asking hard questions like, am I in alignment with this organization, person, situation? If I give my sister that money, how will I feel if she blows it with her girlfriends or on clothes? Am I going to help my friend's situation by giving them money, or will it ruin our friendship? The trickiest area of giving is within families, especially if a person has a sudden windfall or simply has significantly more wealth than the others. Wise givers have the ability to look at these issues and engage heart and mind in the process. Kathy LeMay tells us, when generosity is transformed from an occasional activity to a habit, a practice, a stretch, then the world lives its potential. Be as generous as you can be, in any way that you can be, in every moment that presents itself.
Beautiful. Wild. I love it. Well, as Marina noted, this week the talk focus is playing with money. And in October, we've been exploring finances. Our global theme, of course, for 2022 is living everyday wonder. In this month's Science of Mind magazine, Karen Russo wrote, when it comes to living the everyday wonder of spiritual reality in our finances, the law of circulation guides us. The law of circulation is the principle that all of life is a flow of birth and death, a flow of action and stillness, a flow of giving and receiving. Henry David Thoreau wrote this about wealth. He said, wealth is the ability to fully experience life, which certainly includes play. And Benjamin Franklin adds, wealth is not his that has it, but his that enjoys it. And this is a song by Radney Foster, who's primarily a country artist, but he's just a prolific writer. I really love him. And he had fun with this topic of money. It's called Folding Money. When I was just a child, my granddaddy took me to town one afternoon. He drove an LTD, wore a big white Stetson and 2-ton cowboy boots. He said, kid, here you go, as he handed me a 20 just to see the look on my face. He said, don't tell your mama nothing about it, don't spend it all in one place. See, it takes folding money to get the deal done, folding money to have a little fun, folding money to pay a few bills, eat a steak dinner, cure a couple ills. Folding money, you need a little stash, some greenback dollars, some cold hard cash. Save it for a rainy day or throw away a little bit, huh? It takes folding money to get the deal done. Now ever since the day I learned to earn $1, I've taken his advice to heart. 'Cause when I find courage to keep my cash, some romance is bound to start. Now romance is just like money, you can always get more if you got it. But let me tell you, friend, I'm a lot more handsome with a C note in my pocket. See, it takes folding money to get the deal done, folding money to have a little fun, folding money, pay a few bills, take your date dancing or cure a couple ills. Folding money, you need a little stash, some greenback dollars, some cold hard cash. Save it for a rainy day or throw away a little bit, huh? It takes folding money to get the deal done. It's a pain in the back, it's a cold hard fact, gets to everybody sooner or later. You can give it to a charity and eat some disparity, or stock up your refrigerator. You can marry it or brat it, it'll kill you if you let it. You can blow it with nothing to show. It'll make you all the fatter, but the truth of the matters can't take it with you when you go. Better spend a little folding money, get the deal done. Folding money to have a little fun, folding money, pay a few spread a little round, it'll cure a couple ills. Folding money, you need a little stash, some greenback dollars, some cold hard cash. You can save it for a rainy day, throw away a little bit, huh? It takes folding money. Okay, Alan, back to you.
That was great, Shay.
That's a fun one.
Holding some money. That reminds me of a story. I worked with a fellow named Little Bud Moore from South Carolina, and he was good with money. He told me, so you get a little bit, you put it in a jar, and you bury it in the backyard. And that's how he said, the South, you save your money. So I ran into him one day. He said, well, how's that backyard doing? And I said, well, I keep putting it in the jar and burying it, but I can't find it. And he said, well, don't worry. He said, like the squirrels, if you bury enough of it, when you go down and just dig a hole anywhere, you'll have some there. So I was folding a lot of money back then, but that was great advice from Little Bud. So that was a great song. And now we're going to move along to our Reverend Joe Kovach and hear what he's got to say about some money today.
Good morning, Alan. Thank you for the introduction. And so good morning to everybody. And I'm going to enjoy today's topic because we're talking about playing with money. This stuff right here, this is what we're talking about. This is just a few $100s, and I love money. Look at it. Mwah. I love it. Now, I paused for a reason because I want you to check yourself. If you had any thought of revulsion or repulsion or judgment with what I just did, money heard you. I mean, why would money go where money is not loved? And why would you not love a symbol and an aspect of our freedom here? So what would be the difference if I brought in my children and my son and my daughter, and I kissed them and I said, these are my children and I love them and I kiss them? Because if you thought any differently about me loving money and me loving my children, then most likely we were programmed that it's not okay to love money. And again, why would money come to where it's not loved? Now, I would love to take credit for that. I'll call it a skit, but that actually came from one of my mentors, Mary Morrissey, who shares that exact story of when she was learning our philosophy of abundance and that life is everywhere in full. She went to hear the great speaker, Raymond Charles Barker. And he did that same thing on stage and in front of thousands of people. And she said at first, of course, when he did it and he kissed it, he says, I love money. She admitted she felt repulsed. And she was, who is this guy? I came to learn about abundance through him. But then he made that point. Why would money come to where it's not loved? And money is, as we're going to explore today, different things. I don't want to give it all away in one shot. Well, one of the things that Raymond Charles Barker described to Mary is that he says, it is God's idea of circulation and activity in my world that we are applying our, sorry, I went too fast, so it's circulation. It's God's circulation in the world, and to allow God's circulation in the form of money to happen in our life, we must love money. Just like if I want to have a beautiful relationship, right? It starts within, and then I love without, because I recognize it that there is only one thing happening, and that is God, that is spirit, that is life, that is universal source. Whatever you choose to call it, that's okay. That name, no matter what we call it, is going to limit it anyway. But if we think about money and in a fear-based way, in a hoarding way, in a clinging way, well, then we're going to bear the fruits of that. So one of the things Ernest Holmes says about this, and this is not a posted quote, so you don't need to switch, but I found it interesting. He says, I've always had an abundance of money and an abundance of whatever it takes to make life happy and opulent. He says there's a continuous movement toward me of supply of money, of all that I need to express the fullest life, happiness, and action. Kind of sounds like some homework I gave a couple of weeks ago. So we're going to get to that later as well. Now, one quote from Ernest Holmes with regards to money says this. He says, we should expect so much good that we should conceive of it as being more than we even have time to enjoy. We should feel the presence, appreciate, and give thanks for this good. So the abundance and the opulence and joy of the universe, he's saying, should be reflected in our lives, since we are expressions of the universe. And one way of looking at it goes back from, came out from a book, a magazine, called Thrivent Financial. And they said money is a tool, not a goal. Now think about that. How many of us use money as a goal? We're going to dive even deeper. So when we recognize that we have the privilege of using this divine idea of God itself, of spirit itself, expressing that is money is what we're talking about. And we can use this as a tool to express the very nature of the divine, then we open to its sacredness, as well as our own understanding of ourselves. So there's a few ways I want to present this. First, again, continuing on this idea is that money is a divine idea, and it is a divine idea of circulation in our world. Okay, so we know that it's a give and it's a take, and we know what it feels like to have, and we know what it feels like to lose. All of this is sacred, as is everything else in the world. So remember, if it's all one and that there's nothing outside the body of life of this universal source, then money is a part of that. Right? There is no idea that is outside of that which we call God or spirit. So the problem is, as Don Miguel Ruiz says about money, is so many of us have domesticated this idea. We've compartmentalized. We've created our money in our own. I said again, in our own image and likeness. I want to focus on our own, and that maybe when we've limited it in a way, limited this divine idea in a way, and we get to the point where we call it bad, we call it evil, it's not spiritual, and the such. How many of us right now, sometimes, and maybe not right now, but in part of our life, that we carry judgment, or we carry shame, or guilt? And we do this with our thoughts and our behaviors, focusing about money. Money comes up. We have this judgment. We have this, it's put it this way, it's not a less than a blissful thought, right? Do we really talk about money and love in the same sentence, in the same conversation? Most of the time we're told not to talk about it, right? It's one of those topics we just don't talk about. This is all programming that we've received. And if you find yourself here, whether you've lived a pretty full life thus far, or you're one of the young adults I met just yesterday at our in-person gathering, we have the ability to look within and look at that programming that we have. And many of us have received it when we were yay high, not very big, and at a time when we were operating in a default mode, when we really weren't. We're just receiving, oh, that makes sense. I hear everybody saying, right? Money doesn't grow on trees. And that's just one of the many negative type of behaviors and programs that we receive. And so we just go along with it. And sometimes we agree with it. And when we're out of alignment with the idea of money and its circulation, then we have either, we experience a lack of it. And when we are aligned with the money, then we tend to experience a lot of it. But it still comes down to the overall feeling of it. Meaning, when I have it, am I feeling like I need to flaunt it, right? Or am I feeling like I have to hide it? That's important, because for many, money is the epicenter of life, and this belief that I shouldn't have what I really want, that I can't do this because I don't have that. And so we're not saying that money is, in a sense, everything, But let's be real, try to live a happy, opulent life in this lifetime without it. Right? So it is a tool, as the magazine said. It is a tool to share and circulate the good that we are receiving. So it's a tool of circulation. And what is money? Money is an expression of God. We said this. But money is a form of energy, of spiritual energy. And as we free ourselves from the old beliefs and the emotional conflicts that we have surrounded around money, whether it's personally or the ones that we hear from our families or our culture, and we free ourselves from that limitedness, that idea of lack, then we experience, or we begin to experience, and we can grow a healthier relationship with money. So I want you to pause for 10 seconds. When I ask you this question, think about it truthfully. What is your real relationship to money? How do you judge it? And what power or meaning or meanings do you assign to it? I'm just going to pause for a minute. Think about that. What comes right to the front of your mind? Again, when we have a healthy relationship with money, excuse me, when we are in harmony with the understanding of what money is, it flows. It flows in, we can keep some, and then we release some. And it happens with ease. Knowing why? Because money is ebbing and flowing. It's always there. It's an idea, it's an energy, and it's constantly in circulation if we allow it. It's kind of like, our emotions. Like we can feel when that energy is flowing, and we call that positivity, right? And there's many positive feelings from hope all the way up to bliss and joy. But we can also feel when that circulation of our natural energy is kind of limited. We feel it. We feel guilt. We feel shame. We say it's heavy on the chest, right? I just want to get something off my chest. So we're limiting our own circulation within that. Well, it's the same thing with everything. And in this month, we're talking about money. It's always there. And what happens when we see somebody with a lot of money? What are our thoughts then? Right? Do we break them down? Do we limit them in some way? Do we judge them? And if you say no, then I don't think you're being truthful, because I know I have, and at times I still catch myself doing that in the words and the behavior that I use. Eric Butter, in my opinion, wrote one of the best books on our understanding and relationship with money, called Spiritual Economics. And he says this, he says, there is little likelihood that your life can become fully functioning with prosperity unless you have a positive and creative attitude toward money. So it's not just a thing, and I love how he says, it's not just a positive attitude, but a creative attitude, right? How can I live a full, free expression of life, right? That's the creative part. So it's not just, a thing to have, right? It's not just a goal, as we heard earlier. It's a tool. And the infinite is incapable of withholding what is natural of itself. It's the divine's nature is, as we've seen from, if you remember a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about, it's naturally abundant, prosperity, opulent, extravagant. And I remember correctly, it said lavishly abundant. It's not hiding. It's not shameful, like here's a little bit. It's like here is all of me. Life is giving fully of itself all the time. And if money's a part of it, and I believe it is, then we should be open to that. And if you choose not to, that is okay. And if you choose not to want to experience a lot in your life and experience life in a different avenue, that is fantastic too. What I'm saying is it's not wrong to. And if we're not experiencing the life that we think we should have, then it's an inside job, because it's already here. And just like everything we talk about, we need to go, well, we don't need to do anything, but we can choose to go within, or we're going to go without. Okay. Another great author and who's helped change my thinking on money and opulence is Catherine Ponder. And she says, basically, there is only one disease, congestion. And there is only one cure, circulation. Leave that up for a minute, Marina, please. Just read that a few times. Let it sink in. That's I love, as you know, I love things that are simple and profound. To me, this is simple and profound. There's only one dis-ease. What causes dis-ease in our life? Congestion. What is congestion? Us slowing down. It's energy again, and we feel it, and we say we're stuck, and we say we can't, and we give power to everything outside of ourselves. And Catherine says there's only one cure, circulation. What does that mean? When we're feeling down and somehow we're able to help somebody, that revitalizes, it opens up the divine channels of energy. And so circulation is of utmost importance to our relationship with money. Because if we truly love money, we won't have to hold on to it, as in hoard, right? There's nothing wrong with saving and preparing for the future, etc. Right? Think about that. That's okay. We prepare. We're being logical. We live in this world. But if we're holding because I'm paranoid in a sense, that I don't think there's enough, that's a thought. Again, money hears us. And that's a thought that is going to yield certain circumstances in our life. And it's important to understand that. So we're going to look at that part 2 here. Step 2 is money is a tool, and it is also an effect. And what do I mean by that? Meaning our idea of money is being responded to by consciousness. Money is consciousness, just like everything else. It's the ebb and the flow of the divine infinite ocean of life. And it responds to money, responds to consciousness, just as our bodies do, as I said, and the world of our affairs. Now, in religious science and science of mind and spirit, what we talk about is this outpicturing of what we believe. So money is a symbol, and one with why can I not talk this morning? One that we energize with our own beliefs and our own programs. Right? So money is only a symbol, one of which we energize with our beliefs and feelings. I want to repeat that. So I said money is a symbol. When I say that, what does that mean? What do you feel within your body? It's a symbol. Do you automatically think of something bad or evil? Right? And it's really important that we're honest with ourselves, because we're only going to grow as much as we allow ourselves to grow. It's okay and natural to discover that we've had a program or a way of thinking or a belief or even something at one point I called true, and discover that maybe there's a higher level of truth. Okay. So what is money again? What is it when I hear money is a symbol? How are you feeling about that? Is it a symbol that never maybe seems to stick around enough in your life? Is it a symbol that we kind of paste on the backs of people or occupations that we look down on? I've heard many times in my life that so-and-so or this group of people are overpaid and it's ridiculous. And maybe, but they're receiving in a way what they're in alignment with, period. And if I look at that and call it bad, then what do I know? If that's what I'm giving out, I am in a sense, really, I use in my mind the term of anchoring, right? I'm weighing down that which I say should be free. So as we realize in a sense that the money is neither good nor bad, but just a tool for self-expression of what is a self-expression of our beliefs, it's a self-expression of our feelings, and how we feel really, truly in the end about ourselves, right? Do we not feel worthy enough of being able to receive the good and the abundant life and live the good and abundant life? So then that is what shows up in our life, those circumstances and events. Excuse me, one moment. I am dry this morning. So knowing this, as we become more peaceful, as we become more in alignment, as we grow our positive relationship with money, then we look at this overall theme of the year of everyday wonder, and we can use it and look at everyday wonder around how money works in our lives and in the world. Money becomes then our friend, and maybe if not our friend, a good trusted partner. It's something we're growing into, and we got to start where we're at. Right? Again, I keep talking about being pointless, honest with ourselves, because I know at one point I was not. I was, I'm going to say, too insecure, too afraid to look at what I really believed. And although I'm going to use the word hated where I was at financially, I still, apparently it wasn't enough pain to allow the vision to pull me. And it took it took a little longer time for it to sink in and become the new program. So what if I told you, as Morpheus from Matrix says, that money reveals the outpicturing of our own self-worth and value? Think about that. What if I told you that money reveals the outpicturing of how we feel and value our own worth, our self-worth, and our self-value? That hits home, doesn't it? Most of us don't have a gentle or realistic view of how valuable we are. I mean, look, we're amazing. I love the word magnificent. We are, as we can grasp, as much as we can grasp, we are the infinite in expression, living a life to literally just experience what that means. How incredible is that? I mean, if we are each, not if, we are each literally unique, one of a kind, and we're channels. I think it's Thomas Trower that said we are channels of the divine. Divine what? Divine love and life that's expressing and evolving. Right? And we signed up for this. I truly believe that. And so how often do we hear that we're amazing and believe it? Because if we believe it and we understand who and what we are, then that would be our experience, right? Because it's circulation. We can only, in a sense, receive what we're open to and what we're giving, right? So if I'm, in a sense, on the low end, if I'm giving judgment and programs of lack, then that's what's going to show up in my life. That's going to, in a sense, show my self-worth. I don't value myself very highly because I have to judge you, because I'm not willing yet to look at myself. But what if I turn that around? What if I begin to recognize and give from this place of selflessness, of oneness, of wholeness? I begin to recognize that, well, maybe everybody is. What if I did look at everyone as also the infinite in expression? I don't have to wait for a savior to come down and present itself. Everybody right here is God in action, is spirit, is the divine in form. And we're having this human experience. How would that change your life if we really lived by that idea right there, that principle? Because that is what science of mind and spirit teaches. And if the universe didn't really fully need us, then we wouldn't be here. And I'm looking at the clock and whoo, time's flying. So I want to share with you, one of my favorite speakers, inspirational speakers of all time is Les Brown. And I'm going to hope this is going to work for you. So these words on the screen is what he's saying, just in case you can't hear it for any reason. But his voice is so incredible, I didn't want to read it. It's just a minute here.
Level, look at how they spend resistance.
There we go.
Folks will always point out reasons.
Why is it? There we go. At the beginning.
You can only have two things in life: reasons or results. Notice, reasons don't count. I like that. Folks will always point out reasons on why they're not living their dream, on why they're not manifesting their greatness. They will always be able to point those things out, but none of those things count. The only thing that counts are results, and results don't lie, ladies and gentlemen. They tell it all. Judge a tree by the fruit that it bears, not the ones that it might talk about, not the ones that it might wish for or think about or affirm about, but the fruit that it actually bears. So let us look. I think that all of us are
Okay. So I love that voice, and I encourage anybody, if you've never heard of Les Brown, to please look at his books and his tapes, or just YouTube search him. It's almost everything he says is gold. I've met the man in person, and it's just as inspiring to talk with him. He at one point was teaming up with Mary Morrissey, and I believe he was also, and I'm trying to remember if it wasn't the first secret movie, he was in the secret movie, which is Beyond the Secret. And many people don't even know there was a second one. And that was probably the best movie there. So still looking at my time, I want to figure out what I need to cut here. So let's go to a quote by Ernest Holmes, right there. Because, and this isn't not in Science of Mind, but in Creative Mind and Success, meaning the book Creative Mind and Success, another great book. He says, we can never stand still in our thought. Either we will be growing, or else we will be going back, as we can attract to ourselves only that of which we first have a mental likeness. It follows that if we wish to attract larger things, we must provide larger thoughts. This enlarging of consciousness is so necessary that too much cannot be said about it. So if I only have a few minutes left, this is probably a great place to really focus, which is, what is our mental image? What does that mean? Is what is our thought of us living abundantly, of ourselves? And if it's a small thought, we're going to know that by looking at our lives. We're living paycheck to paycheck, or maybe we're not even doing that. What is Jim Rohn said? There's too much month at the end of our money, right? I love that saying. We're just not living the way we choose to, the way we want to experience. And we're not cursed. We're not bad. Okay, we're just been doing it in a way that we haven't been aware of really what we're projecting out, and understanding that all the things that I'm living, my experience, should be abundant, should be lavishly abundant and prosperous. And so we grow this idea of wherever you're at today. There's, again, it's infinite. One of the points I was going to make was simply like, just because whatever you have doesn't limit somebody else's good, and whatever somebody else has doesn't limit your good. So if somebody just won the lottery and has $1 billion, that's okay. Life is infinite. You will receive your just, what does he say, harvest. But we got to know that we're the farmers. And what are we planting? What are the seeds that we're planting? Is it of lack, or is it of lavishness? And when I say the word lavishness, what is my thought? Oh, that's wrong. That's bad. That's too much. Why do you need 15 cars or a mansion when there's only 2 of you, kind of thing? That's all judgment. Okay? We have an individual relationship with the divine, with everything in life, and that includes money. And there was a great quote, but I'm going to have to skip over it. I want to get to not that one. This idea of financial freedom. When I first heard it, it was fantastic. And from this book, Money is My Friend, he says, financial freedom is when you never do anything you don't want to do for money, and you never omit doing something you want to do because of lack of money. I kind of like that. Again, it's pretty simple. In other words, I'm able to do what I want to do when I want to do it. Okay. Now, I don't know about you, but there's certain things, this idea of being rich, that I don't want to get caught up in. Okay. And that's just me, meaning I don't want a house so big that I have to pay somebody else that's so big to clean it, or I haven't been in a room for a year because it's just so big. I don't need that. And that's okay. All right. Right now, I feel rich. And that's one of the most important things, is how do we feel? If my experience is, I'm okay with that, and I feel congruent with how I'm living, great. Then you are living a lavish life. Let nobody tell you different. And if you want to increase that mental image of what your life, you want your life to be, then that's okay too. Now, I don't want to forget, because 2 weeks ago, I gave you some homework, although I'm going to start calling it life work. It's not really homework. And we were talking about money now today, and I shared with you this idea of a long affirmation from Ernest Holmes. And I'm going to leave it up there for a minute. I have several people that have told me, one made a small copy of it. She has a clear phone case and has it right here so she can see it daily and repeats it. Good and more good is mine. An ever increasing good is mine. There is no limit to the good which is mine. Everywhere I go, I see this good. I feel it. I experience it. It crowds itself up against me, flows through me, expresses itself in me, and multiplies itself around me. If you haven't begun to take on this challenge, I'm going to give you a challenge of life work, and start repeating this through your day. Put it in places on your fridge or on your house, at work, so you see it. So what is this going to do? It's going to help create a better self-image, or divine image, in the mind of consciousness. And that energy will begin to flow through this image and must show up in your life. That is what we call law, universal law. It happens for everyone, no matter who you are, no matter race, creed, color, any of that stuff. It happens, but we just simply must be one with it. All right. I'm going to end on that. I'm going to pray us out. And when I'm going to pray, knowing that everyone that hears my voice, that everyone in CSL St. George community, in the whole city of St. George, that everyone in this world is living lavishly, is recognizing that they are worthy right here, that there's no spot where God is not, that the full idea of freedom is here right now, that the idea of love in all things, all places, and all people is truth. It is principle, that which we call the divine is expressing itself in, as, and through all of it. There is nothing outside of the divine. And so I call this good. I recognize this good is mine. And I speak in the first person for all, because there's only one life happening. It is mine here today. Feel that. There is nothing between myself and the fullness of a free, full life that I choose to live. I state this, I demand this from the law. These are the seeds that I plant, and my harvest is good. Please affirm that with me as we say, and so it is.
So it is. Thank you, Reverend Joe. You have some bragging rights.
How so?
You actually got Alan to take notes on your message.
Here you go, Alan.
Yeah, all right, thanks. It was reminding me of this. I used to think, I used to go, well, every time the money comes in, it goes out. Every time it comes in, it goes out. Of course, hanging around with you folks all these years, it's changed a little bit. Now I know every time it goes out, it comes in. It's that flow continuously. Oh, there it goes. Don't worry, here it comes. And in my life, that is shown true. So thank you very much. Excellent. For the message today.
That's a good testimonial. Thank you, Alan.
Bragging rights, yeah. All right. So that was pretty good. And we are so fortunate to have got Reverend Joe in our family now. So we got a few announcements. So we'll get through them as quick as we can. If you weren't here yesterday, back that up. If you weren't here yesterday, we had our monthly meeting and out at the Sunbrook Clubhouse. And it's the beginning. I run across people, I meet them around town. Oh, I can't wait till we start meeting again and this and that, blah, blah, blah. Folks, we already are. Now, we're not meeting every Sunday at some place, but we're meeting once a month, and the crowd gets larger every month. So if the pictures, if you want to back it up later when you review this message, the pictures that were put up before the service started was from that get-together yesterday. And we had activities and people and music, and it was a really good time. So think about that. Watch the newsletter and the announcements on the website, and please show up for these Saturday meetings. They're pretty cool. Now, the book club will be starting another book on 3rd of November. And it's a 2022 fundraiser for CSL is when you buy this book through awesomelife.com, the money will go toward the new retreat that we have acquired up in Oregon. And so that's it. Get a hold of Sue, get into book club, buy the audio book, and that will benefit the CSL Cedar Ridge camp. That's really a good thing going on up there. So we want to hear from you. We've got people just waiting, full of love, that want to help. And if you got something you just want somebody to talk to, or somebody you need, you want to talk about, you can call this number, 435-893-6702. Got through that quick. And someone will get back with you and help. We also have our practitioners, and they're growing in our center, and they're welcome for prayer. If you want to share a prayer with somebody, just go to prayer at CSLSGeorge.org, and somebody get a hold of you and pray, and probably they'll all pray with you. So that's a great thing we got going on. So the flow thing I was talking about, if it goes out, it's going to come in. So if you want to get into that thing and help us out a little bit, keep these broadcasts and get ready for our more often meetings, there's many ways you can present your offerings and spread your love, as they say. You got the QR code, you got PayPal, and we have or you can mail a check, but we got this new thing called Zelle, and you can check it out with your financial institution. I got on it, and if I can figure out how to do it, anybody can. Well, the benefit of that is if you're using PayPal, then we're paying a 3% fee back to PayPal, which Zelle doesn't charge it. This is all designed by the banks and to help us out. So basically, that means if you send us $1, we'll get the whole dollar instead of the 97 cents. So please take a look into that. It's a pretty good deal. The community conversation, which is our Zoom meeting, which we'll be having here in a few minutes, please join us no matter where you're at. Here at the High Noon, we'll be talking to Reverend Joe. We'll be talking, who knows what we'll be talking about. But Mary, our practitioner that offered our meditation and prayer today, will be there, and she'll be available if you'd like to have somebody to pray with. Just chat the signal on there, and you'll be sent to a separate room, private, with Mary, and you can talk about the prayer. Now, Reverend Joe, on October 23rd, money, so they say. Well, that leaves some openings for conversation, doesn't it? And then on the 30th, he'll be talking about share it, bear it, do take a slice of my pie. You can only do that if I'm not looking up. No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, we look forward to seeing you. And then we have the practitioners plugged in. I'm not sure. Oh, that's the share it, bear it, do it twice. So that's when our practitioners get together and they just have a conversation about that subject. And that's always fun to listen to them and see what they got to say. So please join us on those days. Now we're going to get together here and do our closing affirmation. And please join in. You can just read it right along. You don't have to worry what color. And we'll do that right now.
Something wonderful is happening through me right now.
It is this thing called life.
Life is in my mind. Life is in my body. Life is in all that I do.
I am it, I embrace it, and I share it.
Just the way that it is, and just the way that it is becoming.
Thank you, life.
Yeah,
I want to give a shout out to everybody who showed up yesterday, and to Brighton, and I think her name was, correct me if I'm wrong, Marina, Brianna?
Yep.
Yes.
Some lovely young adults. It was fascinating meeting you. Joanna was new. Good to meet you, Cherry. Good to see you, Tim. Everybody that was there, it was a great time. So it was well worth the drive up.
Yay.
Thanks
And we'll see all of you next month when we do it again. And next week, right here. Same
Thanks,
time.
everybody.